been a while. It's been a while since we've talked Ohio State football, and we got to talk a little bit about it. Ohio State's coming off one of its most dominant seasons in school history. It was set to make another big splash this season with returning stars like, Justin Fields and a plethora of others. And when you see the Big Ten cancel the season, it leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth as a Buckeye fan. So as Buckeye fans, we may be a little biased here, or, just practical. Depends who you ask. But the Big Ten was one of two Power 5 conference teams to cancel the fall football season back in August. A move for the safety of the players and those associated, the coaches, the staff, etc., the families, everything completely. Understand that. And hey, let's not get anything twisted here. I'm all about the safety. I want to see these guys take as much safety precautions as possible. I don't want to see people getting sick and dying. That's, understandably a big priority. But as time's passed, we've learned more and more about how this virus works, the precautionary measures we can take, the, ways to keep the death rate a little bit lower, all that stuff. The longer it's progressed, the less and less deadly it's become, and the more we've learned about how to take precautions against it and preventing people from getting it. And with where we are now, all sports are starting back up, and heck, even high school football is happening. I think that is what might be the biggest, head turner for people here trying to swallow no college football season, because we're even seeing schools that voted against having a college football season have their schools that are high schools in their local states playing high school football. Think about that one. So it's certainly an interesting dilemma. And I think as time passes by, more and more pressure is being put on the Big Ten to start this season up. And that's why we're starting to see the door open here for a potential late November start to this season. Pressure so much that's even come down from President Trump telling the Big Ten they should play. Honestly, we're not going to talk politics, but I don't know how much that was helping the Big Ten's cases here because, we know how hard this line's drawn in the political battlefield these days. But there's been a lot of theories thrown out there, and a political game being one of them. The vote was 11-3 from the Big Ten presidents or team's presidents, and the way it sounds, 9 of the votes, 9-0 were blue states did not play, 2-3 in red states were to play or not to play. So 3 of them said yes, 2 of them said no, which is interesting. It was rumored Ohio State, Nebraska, Iowa. That's the rumored list that we're hearing at least. Again, we'll find out more in 10 days as there's this lawsuit going on with Nebraska players, where the courts are now ordering these guys to the Big Ten to reveal documentation showing the voting process. So we can just, wait, right? No reason to speculate too much on that. But there was also the idea, and forget about the political game, forget about this, forget about that. There's the idea that it was a potential ego play, right? There was the president saying, hey, I'm going to be the first one to cancel the season. I'm going to lead the charge. And then nobody followed. And now they're kind of caught in a catch-22 because they canceled the season. Maybe they want to play now. Again, I can still go without Buckeye football. I'm not going to put my personal want to watch a sport in front of all, potentially other people losing their lives. But I do think there's a, a fine gray area, whatever you want to call it, that these players deserve a say in if they do or if they don't play. The right thing for these universities to do is give these guys a say. These guys are playing for their livelihoods, period, right? There's chances of having a professional career in the NFL, and I do feel bad for that choice being taken away from these guys at the end of the day. On the bright side, though, we're seeing momentum build here for a potential late November start, a Thanksgiving Day start, which is still far and away better than a January start. At least a November start. I think you can get it all done before the Super Bowl ends here, and you get some football in before the holiday break there. But let's try to look at a little bit more of an optimistic viewpoint here. Now, the thing is, starting late November, you're still going to be well over a month separating, the big SEC, the national championship game time at the beginning of January, to when that would line up for this Big Ten conference championship and then the national championship playoff games after that. That is the big issue here. But let's say the Big Ten starts the first Saturday of November. No bye weeks, plus a conference title game. Season ends January 16th. Natty title game could be the 23rd. That's a 2-week separation. Well, I guess you'd have the playoffs in there, but the playoff game would be the 23rd, and the championship, if you did the 4-round, would be the 30th. So it's still essentially close to a 2-week separation. A 2-3 week separation in the current setup from the SEC. And I think when you look at it from that standpoint, then you can start talking, if the Big Ten and these other conferences want to start jumping back in, then these conferences that are going to play in September are going to start saying, hey, what if we add an extra bye week? We add one extra bye week, or we push the season back 1 week. We start on the first Saturday of October instead of the last of September. Then all of a sudden, you're talking about schedules almost lining up pretty well for, you know, the college football playoff time where you could get all these conferences in here and competing for a national championship. But it would, you know, at the end of the day, I think it's feasible for the SEC. But then you look at we're just going to call it the SEC and the other Power 5 teams. The Big Ten, no bye weeks. That might be tough. That might be tough going no bye weeks through the holidays. Would they make that happen? It'd be interesting. I just think at the end of the day, it's got to be collaborative here. I think these conferences in the fall, they realize like, hey, yeah, the SEC is great. We're playing on time. We're going to get the viewers, but we're going to get the same revenue as we would if the Big Ten was playing right now. Because I'll tell you what, as an Ohio State fan, I ain't watching an Alabama game for fun. I can tell you that right now. But I'll tell you what, if it's, you know, week 6, week 7, they're 6-0 and they're on upset watch, I'm turning that sucker on and hoping they lose, because guess what happens then? You got a chance of jumping them in their rankings. That's going on across America, right? For other teams, other conferences, they all want to see these teams lose because it moves their team up higher. So they're giving them a reason to tune in. So it helps everyone. It's a win-win getting all these games playing together and aligned and having everybody compete for the same title here. And again, I do worry about playing games after the Super Bowl. I think that's an area that hasn't worked for football, period. So the Big Ten needs to try to get ahead of that regardless. I just think it's important to get everything done before the Super Bowl. Personal opinion there. I think there could be some wiggle room. Possibly. I don't really know the inner workings, the TV deals, everything going down that route. But I can see them making it work there, and potentially, you know, it feels like a slim to none chance, but at the same time, there's a lot of time between now and November 1 or October, the end of October, to make this happen here. And I really do. I hope the Big Ten, I hope these conferences that can come together, figure something out here so we can get some college football playoffs going, get some Buckeye football going. That's our thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.